jump on and do a live on our garden. We've had lots of people interested in why we do lives. We're happy for you to ask any questions while we're on a live, and we want to talk about our garden with you. It is a really hot, sunny day here in southeast Queensland. We don't even have a cloud in the sky today, which is absolutely amazing, but it is very hot. Anyone that has started our journey on here, we've got our passion fruit that is coming back. We did cut it down pretty hard.
That's a spaghetti squash. This spaghetti squash is going to hopefully climb up the trellis on the side there. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera. This end of the garden doesn't have a whole lot in it at the moment. We're going to continue to succession. Alright, we are back. So we normally do our lives later on in the day, but I thought we'd just take you along. Each morning me and my wife come down, have a walk through the garden, harvest a couple of things, trim some plants, just put in about 10 minutes of maintenance into the garden each day. So as I was saying before, this end of the garden's quite empty. There's seedlings getting germinated now to fill it up. These are purple king beans. Purple beans, I think they're called. They're growing really well. They're actually about to reach the roof. So I'm not sure if we have to let them go across the roof or trim them back, but we'll work that out over the next week or so once I get up there. This section here was full of onions. You can see a bunch of onions in here now. They're not growing as well as the ones further down, so we'll leave them in, but we'll probably plant things a bit closer to them than we would. Long, sweet, yellow capsicum. But once we get down to this section of the garden, it starts getting a bit more into it. Welcome, thank you for the like, I appreciate it. So we have bushing tomatoes. Whenever we have tomatoes, we make sure we're cutting everything off the ground. They do seem to get quite a fair few pests and stuff up from the ground. There's some strawberries here. This one here is almost ripe, but it is starting to be eaten by something, so I think that one's going to get chopped off and thrown away. And if you're going to be growing mint, I'd grow it in a pot, because it is very invasive. If you plant it in your garden, it'll send runners out underground, and you will take forever to get it out of the garden. We learned that the hard way. We'll continue around here, and we have our leafy green area. These ones at the front of Rocket, they're going to last all summer long. Just harvest each day and they just keep growing new leaves. And behind it is some leafy greens. They're probably going to be done within the next month or so. We'll leave them, let them go to seed and collect the seeds of the ones that we like the most, so they're ready to harvest next year. All lettuce is true to seed. So if you have a lettuce and you like it, let it go to seed and you'll be able to plant it every year. We have cucumber at the back and another cucumber over here. They're struggling a little bit with the heat today, but once it starts to cool down, we'll get some water back into those. I've just noticed my only capsicum off this plant has fallen off. This plant has been attacked by something. Not sure if it's worms or grasshoppers, but that's a bit sad. That was the first one on there. The baby spinach has finished up. We'll keep watering it and see if it goes to seed. If not, that'll just get pulled out. These are the onions that are growing a whole lot nicer than the ones down further. They're bunched up and we're late in the season, so we will be picking small onions a bit later on. As I said there, climbing cucumber. We need that one to get up and get some size into it to stop the fence from overheating. Sort of a bit of a battle. If we can get the plants up, it grows really well, but if we can't get them up fast enough. Just reading comments. Reddit bro, how many things can kill you in your garden? If over the back there's the bush, there's definitely be a few more than 3 deadly snakes out there, but in the yard, I'm not sure, maybe a couple of spiders. It's not something we need to worry about though. Whereabouts are you from, Reddit bro? You're not from Australia, I'm guessing. Over this end we have some herbs, some thyme, some garlic chives, parsley. And if we go further in, we have climbing tomatoes. So it's not climbing, but it is a tomato plant. Actually, if you're still there, Reddit bro, I think I've got a couple of spiders just here. There's some spider web. This one here is an orb spider. Let's see if we'll be able to show you that. We are from southeast Queensland. Do one here, a little spider here. See if I can get a view of it for you. Not really in an easy spot to get to. Might be able to see the underside of it a little bit better. Oh, got my hand in the spider web. Can you see that one in there? Oh. If they bite you, they hurt, but they're not deadly. Northern Victoria. Nice. I keep bees, and I've been noticing in Victoria lots of bees are swarming. I'm keeping an eye out for some swarms up here in Queensland. They're not as many as down there at the moment, so hopefully soon. So the tomato plant is on a lean and lower trellis, which means it's going to grow to the top. And once it reaches the top, we don't have to stop it from growing. We'll just lower the string down and we'll be able to continue working on it. We have zucchini. It's finally starting to take off. That one has really struggled for the first few weeks, or maybe the first month that it's been in there, but it's growing nicely now. And we'll go a bit further down to the citrus. We have mandarin at the back and orange at the front. We have big plans happening in the backyard, so that will soon be bought out and put into a bigger pot, maybe into the ground, but it'll have its own spot soon. Beetroot at the front. Corn. We've got a spot beside it here for some more corn, and then more corn will be going on this side as well. We want to be able to harvest the corn over months and months. We can grow it all summer, and it's still only mid-spring. Then we have a lemon tree and our pumpkin, which this is growing faster than any plant I think I've ever owned. I'd say to be growing 30 centimeters, maybe a foot or more each day, which is crazy. But this is just a concrete slab from an old garden shed, so just covering it with straw so it can become part of the garden as well. We use all the space we've got. And we have sweet potatoes. They're in a pot, so they're easier to harvest. And that is lemongrass. That's in a pot because it would take over the garden if it wasn't. It'll fill up the pot all the way to the edges. We'll harvest it, replant some in the middle, let it go again. It'll grow all year. Most things here would grow all year. The hardest is probably planting in summer. We have really hot summers, so some of the plants can't handle the heat. But we can grow all through winter. Just have to pick the right plants for that time of year. Keep going down here. We have some compost. We have a compost bin in the kitchen. We bring it down every day. It's just garden scraps. We've set this compost bin up here. Our local government. Do I have any green beans? Green beans are more of a winter crop here. I have the purple beans down the end, right there. They're a summer. They are a summer plant here in Australia, but green beans are winter, so we will be growing them, like snap peas and stuff like that. We just can grow normal beans in summer, I think, but we generally grow them through winter. This compost bin was completely free. We have a local government rebate for $50 for composting or worming equipment here. So this was a $49 compost bin. So we are putting it in and we're going to make completely free compost. So the bin was free. It's just kitchen scraps and garden scraps and then cardboard for the browns.
Don't forget you can add your tea bags as well. Anyone that drinks tea, and coffee beans are good for your garden as well.
Alright, we will go for a quick walk up this way. I'm going to turn you around. Hopefully I don't scare you guys all off with my face, but the bees are working hard. These were a swarm that we picked up a couple of months ago. They had some troubles at the start. We had to requeen them, and then also had to bring in some a honey frame and a brood frame just to keep the numbers up. But they are filling out the hive really fast. I'd say in the next month or so we're going to have to move them up into a proper size hive and not just a nuke box. But I'm guessing they found somewhere really well because the numbers are skyrocketing and the activity's gone crazy. So
you can jump onto our YouTube channel and see our videos of opening up the hive, seeing the queen bee, seeing the eggs as well.
And we will continue down here and we will go and look at our other bees. Those ones are the ones we've just seen are European honeybees. The next ones are Australian stingless bees. I used to have a 0.1 hectare garden. It was lots of work. Yeah, it is lots of work. We've got, I'm not sure if we can show you around this way, all of this. So that's climbing fort's going, the trampoline's getting moved over there, but then we're removing all of the grass and putting in gardens. So if you wanted to follow along, hit the subscribe button, but our whole backyard is going to be food gardens. And once we've caught up with that, then we're going to change the front gardens as well. These bees here are Australian stingless. Everyone knows about the European honeybees, but not as many people know about these ones. They're a lot smaller. They're probably less than a quarter of the size. They don't sting. They pollinate just as well, but they make a fraction of the honey. So they're definitely more just about pollinating than they are about the honey. The honey is edible. It's a really, it's hard to explain the flavor. I'd say rich compared to honeybee honey. But this was a rescue hive as well. So these bees were in a bird breeding box. We've moved them over to a proper, it's called an oath hive. It's an Australian design. And I'd say most bees like this in this style hive, so it's all interchangeable. You can split a hive once a year, so you don't have to use the same brand of box. You can just buy an oath hive from anybody and they're all interchangeable. Do we have any invasive bees? The invasive bees that we have are the European honeybees, so they're not really, we don't really look at them as an invasive species, but they're not native to here. We have a couple of invasive wasps, but I don't think we have any other invasive bees. The stuff on the outside is their propolis wax. It was from the original hive that they came from. It was just so they could smell a familiar smell, so they would come back to the right spot. But eventually they'll either take it in and use it inside the hive, or I might remove it. But for now, I'm happy for it just to stay there. Yeah, they are really cool. They're really, really small. I'm sure we can go compared to the size of my finger. They're expensive as well compared to honeybees. Here, a hive of native bees like this are probably minimum 600 for a healthy hive, 600 Australian dollars. And you can buy a full hive of honeybees for about 300, or you can buy a nucleus for as low as 150 Australian dollars. So I like both, and I'm happy that I'm keeping both of them. We'll swing back around to the garden, compost. We'll do a really quick run through. I think some of you guys have been here from the other way down, but we'll work our way back through. So we have compost. That was a concrete slab that we've covered in straw so we can grow the pumpkin. So it won't take up the garden or the grass, and it will make that area productive. Then we have orange and corn, lemon and corn, orange and mandarin with some beetroot across the front, zucchini, tomatoes. There was carrots here, but they didn't handle the heat that we've just gone through, so I'll have to get them a bit bigger. I'll replant some seeds and get them bigger in the seedling trays. Herbs, cucumber, onions, leafy greens, capsicum, another cucumber behind there, tomatoes, strawberries and mint. I always forget the name. Americans call it cilantro, we call it coriander here. Some individual onions, but they're not growing very well. That one is a long yellow sweet capsicum. Climbing beans. You were asking before about the green beans. These aren't flowering. Well, the flowers are starting to come, but there's no beans on there yet, so you'll have to keep watching. I'd say in the next week or two we'll have beans on there. This end is almost completely empty, and that one there is spaghetti squash. How cold is it in your area? Are you always able to grow plants in all seasons? Yeah, so in the middle of winter we only the nights will get down to 0 Celsius, would be like our coldest night of the year. You said you were from America. Hang on, give me a sec, let me Google what 0 is in Celsius. 0 is in Fahrenheit. Zero is 32, would be the absolute coldest we would get here in the middle of the night in the middle of winter. But generally I would say in the single digits at night time, and 20-ish degrees during the day. So 20 is 68 Fahrenheit. That would be probably our mid-winter days. Our summer days would get up into the 40s. So 40 is 104. That would be a hot day here. So it's currently the middle of spring and we're currently 35 degrees Celsius. Middle of summer, a 40-degree day would be hot. I'd say mid-30s is what we would be looking at for our summer days. So yeah, we can grow all year. We probably have more problems growing in the middle of summer than we do in the middle of winter. The heat is non-stop, so you need plants that can really handle the summer heat. So things like these beans will handle it. The rocket, Egyptian spinach I haven't grown before, but it's in a seedling tray at the moment, so that'll get planted out soon. The corn really likes the heat. Yeah, so yes, we can grow all year round, and we will be growing all year round. Alright guys, we've been on for about 20 minutes. If you are still here, I'd love for you to hit the subscription button or the subscribe button and see us on our next live, or have a look through our videos. See if there's anything you'd like us to do. Leave a comment somewhere. More than happy to try any of your tips and tricks. If you have any ideas of what we should try and plant, let us know that as well. And I will talk to you all soon. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm Jay, and this is Aussie Backyard Harvest.